speaking now to his supporters for more than an hour and a half. Much of that time he's dedicated to defending his last 5 years in power, his achievements and the achievements of his government. He said that unemployment is at its lowest rate in 15 years, that France's economy had bounced back, and that he had kept some of the promises that he had made in 2017. One of them, for instance, to reduce class sizes in schools in deprived neighborhoods. He's trying to keep his message very positive. He's not really spent much time criticizing his opponents, the other 11 candidates in this race. And he's also talked rather a lot about Europe. He said that his project was one about having a strong France and a strong Europe. And he said, he reminded his supporters, look, do you remember in 2017 when we were criticized for waving the European flag at our political rallies? Well, now look at the situation we're in and how important a strong Europe is.
And Claire, as I said, this is Macron's first big rally, since he's announced his bid for re-election. He says he didn't have time to run a traditional campaign because he was too busy running the country. Obviously, we had the war in Ukraine that broke out. How are things looking for the president in the run-up to the polls next week?
They're looking good for Emmanuel Macron, but not as good as a few weeks ago. He's still the favourite to win the first round, but his two biggest rivals, Marine Le Pen on the far right and Jean-Luc Mélenchon on the far left, have been gaining ground. And in the second round, it looks most likely that Emmanuel Macron will go through along with Marine Le Pen. The same scenario as in 2017, but the final result, according to the current polls, is looking a lot more narrow. So Emmanuel Macron is not going to be able to rely on what's known here in France as the Republican front. This situation in which all the parties club together to keep out the far right candidate. That's what the former president Jacques Chirac benefited from. That's what many other town councillors and mayors have benefited from across the country in recent years. But it's looking like Emmanuel Macron will not be able to benefit from that. He is beginning to lose his lead in the polls with a week ahead to go until the election. It's definitely not a done deal for the French president.
Claire, thank you very much for that. Claire Bacalat reporting there from Macron.